Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Health Sciences, SOHS. Postgraduate Diploma in Geriatric Medicine, PGDGM, revised. MME 105 Clinical Geriatrics-I. Block-1 Different Phase of Clinical Geriatrics. Unit-1 How are elderly different? 1.0 Objectives. After going through this unit, you should be able to explain the influence of aging changes on disease process. Describe the nature of pathology in elderly. Enumerate the reasons for underreporting in elderly. Discuss the procedure of history taking in elderly. Outline the process of examination of elderly. Develop the skill of decision making in evaluation. Increased risk of illness, injury and death. Aging is heterogeneous and varies from person to person and also in different organs. In a particular individual, it is important to understand that aging is not a disease. However, the risk of developing disease is increased in old age. Hence, the older persons are considered as high-risk population similar to pediatric age group. The current scenario of global aging is a consequence of decline in mortality, control of fertility with decline in birth rate and rising life expectancy. Almost all the countries in the world except a few are experiencing population aging with the rise in the median age of the society. There is also feminization of aging with women out surviving men in later age group. The term geriatrics is derived from the Greek word gerios meaning old age and was coined by Ignaz Nasher in 1909. Geriatric medicine is a branch of medicine concerned with the diagnosis, treatment and prevention of diseases in older people and the problems specific to older population. The term gerontology is the study of physiology of aging. It is essential to differentiate the physiological changes due to aging and disease process. Also, aging is associated with atypical presentation and multiple pathology. The diagnosis may be missed if the treating physician is not oriented to symptomatology and presentation of diseases in old age. The ultimate aim of this discipline is promotion of health in old age and more so specifically in maintaining the functional autonomy of the older person. Hence, geriatricians need to distinguish between diseases and effects of normal aging, identify the multiple comorbidities, aim at functionality and treat the individual as a whole rather than the individual diseases. The decision to intervene or not needs a lot of expertise. Successful geriatric practice demands meticulous clinical examination and appropriate investigations to detect all the pathology present at the earliest, followed by an assessment of priorities. In this unit, we shall focus our attention on the diseases complex in elderly and how these multiple pathologies affect the presentation of illness in the older persons. You will also learn how to take a proper history, undertake the examination in elderly patients, to decide about the relevant investigations and to implement the management which will aid the older patient to maintain his functional status. Also, it is recommended to go through the first unit of practical manual of this course to get a complete picture. 1.2 Physiology of aging. Aging is a natural phenomenon mediated by genes and physiological changes. It is also influenced by diet, lifestyle, environmental factors and personal habits. It is generally characterized by homeostatic imbalance, declining ability to respond to stress and increased risk of disease. In short, these are attributed to homeostenosis, where there is progressive constriction of homeostatic reserve of every organ system. The important principles of aging include: X individuals become more dissimilar as they age. X normal aging can be attenuated by modification of risk factors. X abrupt decline in any system is always due to disease and not due to normal aging. X in the absence of disease, decline in homeostatic reserve cause no symptoms and imposes few restrictions in activities of daily living regardless of age. Physiological changes take place in all the systems of elderly. It is important to recognize that most of the age-related changes do not impair the functions of various organ systems under normal non-stressful conditions but may cause significant morbidity and mortality under stressful conditions. Owing to the diminished reserve capacity, 3/4 the body composition alters with decline in lean body mass, muscle mass, and increase in body fat. 3/4 in eyes presbyopia leads to impaired accommodation. 3/4 postural hypotension on standing is a consequence of decreased baroreceptor sensitivity. 3/4 sensory decline in vision, hearing and taste, and degenerative changes in arteries and joints are an inevitable phenomenon, leading to heavy burden of disease and disability in old age. 3/4 the kidney is unable to respond to water deprivation by concentrating the urine to the same degree as the kidney of a young person. The role of the kidney in the regulation of the ions in plasma, in the maintenance of acid-base balance also becomes impaired. These mechanisms continue to function adequately under normal circumstances but lose their reserve to meet unusual challenge. 3/4 defective homeostasis makes the maintenance of body temperature difficult, and hence increased incidence of hypothermia occurs in elderly. You have already learnt in detail about physiological changes of aging in Unit 1. Block 2 of MME 104 of Basic Geriatrics. 1.3 Special features of elderly. Presentation and diagnosis of diseases and disorders in the elderly are influenced by many factors. X aging changes. X multiple pathology. X non-specific presentation of illness. X underreporting of illness. X attitude of relatives. 1.3.1 Aging and disease process. It is not always easy to distinguish between changes attributable to aging and those attributable to disease, e.g., osteoporosis, atherosclerosis, impairment of control of body temperature, maintenance of blood pressure on change of posture, etc. Be careful in the interpretation of signs which are usually important in younger patients. In the elderly, the same changes are sometimes completely innocent and occur in the absence of disease. So allowances must be made for these changes in clinical examination. Examples are X small, constricted pupils may simulate Argyll-Robertson pupil. X hand muscle wasting may be normal in the absence of any other associated signs. X senile purpura and hirsutism are normally seen in elders. The characteristics of the influence of aging on the process of disease are peculiar. Fig. 1.1. The decline in the physiological reserve leads to inadequate compensatory mechanisms, early onset of symptoms, prolonged duration for recovery and deconditioning. These can be prevented by early investigations and aggressive treatment to aid faster recovery. Physiotherapy and rehabilitation plays a major part in the management of an elderly patient to prevent the falls and bedridden status. Due to decline in immunity, the elderly are susceptible to infectious diseases. Absence of febrile response and expression of immune response to infection may be noted in many elderly patients with bacteremia proven by blood culture. Associated elements of immune response like leukocytosis, phagocytosis and intracellular killing have also been reported to be impaired in the elderly. 1.3.2 Multiple pathology. A striking feature of disease in an elderly person is that it is very often multiple. Multimorbidity or simultaneous coexistence of two or more acute or chronic condition in an individual is a major health issue in older persons. Multimorbidity is associated with very high rates of disability, death and healthcare utilization. A clinician when dealing with young patients will explain every symptom, clinical sign, and the abnormal laboratory reports to a single pathological disease process. This approach is inappropriate in older patients. Once people are in their 80s, they commonly show evidence of several different pathological processes, some active and others inactive, but nevertheless contributing to the total disability. The unfortunate consequence of multiple diseases is that the symptoms and signs of the new disease may be wrongly attributed to the already diagnosed disease. Patients with extensive osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and multiple falls may sustain fracture of femoral neck, which is overlooked because of pain and immobility, and wrongly attributed to exacerbation of arthritis. Similarly, osteomalacia may also be readily missed in such patients. Another example is worsening of cardiac failure in patients with valvular heart disease, diagnosed years back, may be due to a new onset thyrotoxicosis or subacute bacterial endocarditis. Patients themselves may ascribe their present symptoms to their old diseases, so the physician must avoid being misled and should always consider the possibility of new additional diagnosis. cataracts, deafness, degenerative joint diseases, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, and varicose veins are all conditions which are likely to develop slowly and progress. Disorders such as anemia and cardiac failure that have been diagnosed earlier can be kept under control by continuous medications. Others like hiatus hernia, diverticular disease may remain for years without any symptoms. Cancer, pernicious anemia, thyrotoxicosis, myxedema are all common due to decline of immune mechanisms. Obesity, diabetes, depression also occurs more frequently in the old. A complete diagnosis must take all these problems into account and must also make some attempt to allocate to each its priority and its activity. At a given point of time, the symptoms caused by the active disease have to be identified and treated without causing deterioration of the pre-existing illness. Hence, a problem-oriented approach is essential. Now you must have realized that multiple pathology is a common entity in older people. 1.3.3 Atypical presentation. The clinical presentations of the diseases in the elderly could be quite different. Presentation may be obscure or may mislead to a varying diagnosis and might hinder the outcome. Elderly patients may have classical presenting symptoms, or the non-specific symptoms may be the earliest or the only manifestation. Also, disease affecting one organ system can precipitate decompensation in another due to age-related decline in reserve. However, the peculiar phenomenon is that whatever the underlying acute disease, the weakest areas like cardiovascular, central nervous system and musculoskeletal systems are often affected, and symptoms pertaining to these systems like acute confusion, falls etc. predominate. Unless full use is made of history taking, examination and appropriate investigations, treatable disease may be missed with tragic consequences. Another important aspect is iatrogenic illness, which is common in elderly and is preventable. Polypharmacy and adverse drug reactions are common in elderly, leading to hospitalization. The key symptom for which the patients more often seek medical advice is pain. Even when pain occurs, it may be less severe or easily forgotten. The elderly commonly have considerable difficulty in giving an accurate description of the character and localization of pain. Painless myocardial infarction is more common than the classical presentation with severe chest pain and shock. The patient instead presents with heart failure, a minor episode of confusion, vertigo, breathlessness or fatigue. It may be completely silent or it may present along with CVA. Another example is painless vertebral collapse due to osteoporosis, which presents as retention of urine without pain or abdominal discomfort. Disease is less often present in a florid and dramatic way in elderly subjects. The organs, it has been said, suffer in silence. An acute abdominal catastrophe is easy to recognize in the young, but in the old it is rare to find the same unmistakable picture of board-like rigidity and agonizing pain and profound shock. It is common to find an almost complete lack of the physical signs in pneumonia. And old people, like children, tend to swallow their sputum. Evidence of this disease may be recognized only radiologically or clinically. They may present with tachypnea, altered mental status, poor oral intake etc. The staring eyes and the hot, sweating, shaking hands and the irritable fidgeting of the young women with Graves' disease are absent in an older woman with thyrotoxicosis, and instead may present with atrial fibrillation. A gastroesophageal reflex disease may present as dysphagia, chronic cough or regurgitation. Cholecystitis may present as generalized abdominal pain, fever, nausea, vomiting instead of the classic right upper quadrant pain, Murphy's sign etc. A urinary tract infection in an elderly may present as altered mental status, dizziness, nausea instead of the typical history of fever and dysuria. Generalized weakness and fatigue are common complaints in older patients that are seen in less than 1% of patients less than 60 years old. Common diagnoses after a workup for generalized weakness include pneumonia, urinary tract infection, congestive heart failure, CHF, dehydration, anemia, and gastrointestinal bleed. The non-specific symptoms are listed in Table 1.1. Common infections like pneumonia, urinary tract infections may present with a change in mental status such as lethargy or confusion, but with no symptoms related to the source of infection. Possible explanations for such atypical presentation are the presence of multiple comorbidities altering the presentation, age-related physiological changes altering the perception of stimulus, and cognitive impairment hindering the patient from providing the accurate history. Age-related changes in the immunity may lead to decrease or absent fever response in the aged people. Atypical presentations may predict poor outcomes, perhaps as a result of delays in the diagnosis and initiation of appropriate therapy. Table 1.1 Non-specific symptoms in elderly. Altered mental status falls. Altered temperature response dizziness. Weight loss functional decline. Fatigue mobility restriction. 1. Altered mental status. Altered mental status may often be the only indicator of a severe underlying disease. Presenting symptoms include disorientation, decreased or nonsensical verbalization, somnolence and hyperactivity. The cardinal symptoms include lack relevance and coherence of speech, decreased comprehension, altered sleep-wake cycle, hallucinations and delusions. Also, it is necessary to differentiate delirium from dementia, depression and acute psychosis. Differential diagnosis of altered mental status in older people encompasses infection, respiratory and urinary tract infection being the most common. Medications, drugs with narrow therapeutic index and the drugs crossing blood brain barrier being the most common cause, e.g., anticholinergics, antihistamines, sedatives, hypnotics, untreated pain, alcoholic intoxication, withdrawal, metabolic disorders, electrolyte imbalance, acid-base imbalance, dehydration, hypoglycemia, hypoxia, hypothermia, cardiovascular, heart failure, myocardial infarction, central nervous system, meningitis, encephalitis, cerebrovascular accidents. 2. Altered temperature response. Illness less often results in fever and rigor. Urinary tract infections and pneumonia are often accompanied by a normal body temperature, which adds to difficulty in diagnosis. Hypothermia is also very common in elderly. The clinical picture is a characteristic one of a drowsy, confused patient with a pale and somewhat myxedematous general appearance, bradycardia and an abdomen which feels cold to the touch. The superficial resemblance to myxedema is further strengthened by the presence of hung-up tendon reflex. Rectal temperature with a thermometer recorded with adequate time is needed to confirm the diagnosis. Mouth temperature is misleading and value below 95 degrees Fahrenheit is usually taken as the dividing line. 3. Weight loss. Weight loss is another common atypical manifestation in elderly. Weight loss causes may be classified as X-social, X-psychological, X-medical. Social causes of weight loss include poverty, functional impairment, social isolation, poor nutritional knowledge, and elder abuse. Psychological causes are depression, paranoia and bereavement. Medical causes for weight loss are dementia, pulmonary, cardiac, renal diseases, malignancies, alcoholism, infectious diseases, poor dentition, and endocrine abnormalities. 4. Fatigue. Fatigue can be divided into acute or chronic. The common causes are given in Table 1.2. Some patients may experience tiredness, fatigability and lack clear-cut symptoms. And this may even be attributed to symptoms of aging. Such a picture warrants meticulous history and physical examination to arrive at the diagnosis. Table 1.2. Causes of fatigue. Hematological abnormalities, malignancies, renal failure, liver failure, endocrine abnormalities, pulmonary disease, OSA, severe, obstructive, restrictive diseases, psychiatric illness, depression, medications like anticonvulsants, antipsychotics, chemotherapy agent. 5. Dizziness. Dizziness is the commonest complaint for which the cause could not be diagnosed easily. It causes difficulty in the activities of daily living, ADL, and restriction of mobility. Studies show that 28% cases have CVS causes, 14% cases have CNS causes, while 22% cases do not have any appropriate diagnosis. The commonest presentation of dizziness includes vertigo, presyncope and disequilibrium. 6. Falls. Some patients present with gradual deterioration of mobility or with falls which may be attributed to old age itself. However, the clinician should do a detailed Assessment to find out the underlying cause. Falls may be multifactorial. The causes are listed below in Table 1.3. Table 1.3, Causes of falls. Cardiac primary gait and balance impairment. Neurologic incorrect walking aids, footwear. Musculoskeletal environmental hazards. Sensory impairment iatrogenic. Check your progress too. All of the following statements are true regarding early hypothermia in elderly. Except A. Core body temperature is between 96 F 98 F. B. Fatigue. C. Lethargy. D. Confusion. 1.3.4 Missing symptoms. Because of the relative immobility of many elderly patients, the symptoms related to exertion may not be present. Thus, angina pectoris and intermittent claudication are encountered less commonly than would be predicted on the basis of higher prevalence of vascular diseases. Similarly, patients with severe cardiac or respiratory diseases may not complain of exertional dyspnea. Some of the diseases become less common in older age groups for unknown reasons, such as infective hepatitis or acute glomerulonephritis are practically never seen in old age. Similarly, severe hypertension or severe bronchitis is not often encountered in patients over 80 years. 1.3.5 Decision making on diagnostic procedures and therapy. Clinical decision making for older adults, including diagnosis, treatment, and desired outcomes, is different and more challenging than that is for younger patients. In older adults, the conventional disease-specific approach is not applicable for several reasons. Age-related physiologic changes in most organ systems affect diagnostic, test interpretation and responses to treatments. Due to multiple county morbidities, the relationship between the pathology, the disease and the manifestations are inconsistent. Also, it is often impossible to assess the severity or manifestations of individual disease and to attribute the alteration in the functional status to specific disease processes. Clinical examination. The importance of the chief complaints of the patients is variable in older persons, as they are inaccurate, vague. For example, instead of chest pain, the patient will complain of constipation. Hence, simultaneously a detailed history has to be obtained from the caregiver to determine the accuracy. The clinical history should include the cognitive function, affect and mood, depressive symptoms, followed by relevant assessments like mini-cog, status of cognition, and geriatric depression scale. The focus of the physical examination in the older persons is to identify treatable impairments, e.g. decline in muscle strength, gait instability, sensory impairments etc. Diagnostic tests. The decision for a particular diagnostic testing in an elderly should depend on various factors. Table 1.4. The criteria for diagnostic tests are listed in Table 1.5. Table 1.4. Factors related to investigations. Purpose of the test. Patient's acceptance of treatment. To establish prognosis, monitor disease progression and response to therapy. Aids the patient and family members in decision making. For both diagnosis and prognosis, cost and convenience of the test. Availability of simple and equally efficient, safe test. Table 1.5. Criteria for diagnostic tests. Accuracy of the test. Danger of the illness if left undiagnosed. Risks involved in the diagnostic test. The availability and feasibility of effective treatment. Due to difficulties in eliciting a coherent history and clinical presentations being variable, investigations become essential to arrive at a clinical diagnosis. When an elderly presents with an acute illness, basic biochemical, ECG and radiological tests should be done at the earliest so that appropriate and effective treatment can be initiated early, and this will help in the recovery of the patient. However, the focus to active and passive range of movement should be assessed. Foot problems are common in elderly, which may be due to age-related deformities, ill-fitting shoe or systemic disorders like rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes and neurological disorders. A. Nervous system. Aging affects all aspects of nervous system from mental status to motor and sensory functions. Impairment of vision and hearing makes the examination difficult. Routine screening of elderly with mini mental status examination, MMSE, helps to identify cognitive decline early. Altered level of alertness is always associated with cognitive deficits and an underlying medical illness. that is almost always treatable. Absent ankle jerks are common in persons over 75 years and do not indicate any specific neurological deficit. Distal impairment of vibration and joint position sense is also a consequence of aging process rather than a hallmark of disease. Both muscle bulk and power are reduced in elderly but does not cause any functional impairment. Cortical release reflexes, which include snout sucking and palmo-mental reflexes, may be present with no detectable brain pathology. Mild swaying during walking is also commonly observed in elderly. All components of gait, such as initiation of walking, step length, symmetry, continuity, cadence, velocity, stride width and walking posture should be assessed. Interpretation of neurological signs should be carefully done in elderly, as many observations which are considered abnormal in young may be normal in elderly. Unless signs are unilateral and interfere with functional capacity, elderly need not be subjected for exhaustive investigations. 1.7 SUMMARY. Elderly patients differ in many ways from the young. Indeed, such distinctions underline the separate existence of geriatrics as a medical specialty. An abrupt decline in any system of function is not attributed to normal aging. Due to diminished physiological reserve, occurrence of symptoms at an earlier state of the disease occurs. Common diseases may present atypically. There is altered temperature and pain response to illness. Multimorbidity is common in elderly. Polypharmacy is common and may be a factor in presentation, diagnosis, and management. Hence, detailed medication history is essential to prevent drug disease and drug-drug interactions. Cognitive impairment is possible and mental status should be evaluated. Gross underreporting of illness by the elderly commonly occurs. Social support systems are important in care of older patients and should be considered in planning for care. Knowledge of baseline functional status is essential in evaluating new complaints. Sensory deficits, especially hearing impairment, interfere with history taking. History should be elicited from reliable caregiver for cognitively impaired patients. Many abnormal findings in younger patients may be acceptable age-related. Findings in elderly, e.g. bacteriuria, premature ventricular beats, low bone mass, impaired glucose intolerance, uninhibited bladder contractions. Because symptoms in older people are often due to multiple causes, the diagnostic law of parsimony often does not apply. Appropriate preventive strategies in older adults involve taking into account estimated life expectancy and time to benefit for preventive intervention. Thus, a good geriatric practice requires skill, experience, proper and detailed history taking, meticulous physical examination, corroboration of the history with the physical findings, and an ability to assess which changes are due to aging and which to disease, and finally a good understanding of the patient's needs and rapport with the elderly. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.